Hello and welcome back to the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, episode 93. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and joined, as always, by James St. Charles, and that is it. James, how the hell are you?
Doing good. How about you?
Good, it's just you and me.
I know, it's back to the old days. You know,
God.
we got rid of Ted. We finally terminated his contract after all these years.
Well, he had a lot on us, a lot of dirt,
yeah.
a lot
I
of
think
blackmail.
we paid what once Netflix went down today, that was it. You know, we bought him out.
Yeah, he had a lot of stock
he had all
tied
his
in
money
Netflix.
in Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah, in futures. That's where he's at. But enough about stocks, because this is the 93rd episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, where every Monday morning a new episode goes live on YouTube.com, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Once a week, we Discord over 500 miles, talk about a gaming-related topic and what games we are playing. And we're talking about a very relevant topic, James. Okay? Mm-hmm. We're talking about, so current, it hurts.
Yeah,
we're talking about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild today.
Not two. One.
One. Because you played it in the last year.
Yeah, I played it in the past year. Yes.
Yeah, and it's one of my favorite games. So I just
on my OLED Switch.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's gotta be pretty.
Very pretty.
How many times did you ever play it plugged into the TV?
No, I only ever played it in OLED.
Handheld. In OLED.
Handheld the entire time. Yeah, in OLED mode.
I only ever played it in OLED.
It's not different if I plugged it in compared to like if someone else plugged it in. It's the same thing. But it's different if I said I played it entirely on the OLED screen. Because no one else can do that unless they have the OLED.
Because I was going to ask you, because this was my first Switch game ever. Now we're just diving into Breath of the Wild. That's totally fine. It was my first Switch game ever. And I loved the taking out of the TV to go to the bathroom. That was a big, thing.
Many times I played it on the can.
Yeah.
And travel with it. I think I brought it on vacation somewhere.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I definitely did bring it. I traveled with it, so that was great,
I was curious about your bathroom and travel habits with Breath of the Wild. Not about your thoughts on the game, just how you did those two things.
That's how I played it.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks. Before we get to Breath of the Wild, though, I want to talk to you about one thing. I don't know if you've seen this, but PlayStation and Microsoft are working on technology to put ads in video games.
Oh, yeah. I did see a little bit of this.
How scary is that?
I think, it's been a thing as long as it's not intrusive. Like, if it's built into the environment, like, like ads you'd see in old, I don't know, Need for Speed or something like that.
Yeah.
Like on billboards, the billboard type ads. That to me is fine. Like, as long as it's not intrusive. It's like, if it's like, I'm going to like jump a cutscene and it's going to play an ad.
Yeah.
That takes me right out of the immersion. Like, it needs to be immersive. That's how I feel about it.
Like almost like 2K has like on all the sides of the what's it called? The shit, I don't even know what I'm blanking. The court, like those panels on the court.
Yeah.
They'll have like
sponsors, That to me is, as long as it's like symbolic of the environment. Like, you could do like a whole ad thing and be in like some futuristic planet and just have it like on the billboards. Like that to me is fine.
Okay.
But if you just blatantly stick an ad video for like 30 seconds or something like that, and I like to pay to skip it or something like that, I'm done.
I worry
I'm not gonna
that
play your game.
That could be the thing for like the next battle royale or something. It's like you load into one and you have to watch like a 30-second ad.
Just play a mobile game. Like why? It's a different. Like, just do mobile games. Like, we don't need ads.
I'm very curious how this is going to be integrated into games. And like
I don't know. To me, the simple integration like within the game is fine. I understand like some developers need to make some money, and you put it in the background or you put it with the environment. Cool. It's not going to take me out of the immersion. That's what I'd say.
Not gaming related, but did you see the San Diego Padres, the baseball team, is going to be the first team to have a logo on their or a ad on their jersey next year? They will
that's not been a thing?
No, not in U.S. sports.
In any U.S. sport? Damn, I see it all the time with esports, so it's like I just never really thought about it.
Well, and FIFA in Europe is like huge with it.
Yeah, that I always see those.
There's so many ads, but yeah, they will have a Motorola patch on their jersey sleeve.
Just the Padres.
So far, I'm sure a lot more are coming, but
I guarantee, since it's baseball, they're gonna input rules immediately. Like, it needs to be this size, needs to be on this air. Like, you're gonna see a full rule book on how you place the ads.
You can place an advertisement. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, if it's, I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I'm kind of curious about just like with games and also sports and everything, like just how many ads are getting baked in, because that was such a big thing of like internet videos and like watching stuff on YouTube, and now YouTube is like an ad every freaking 3 minutes on like very popular videos. So like I worry about like how many, like, is eventually God of War 6 gonna have like weird ads and Norris stuff for Coca-Cola? Like is that where it's gonna get to? And that's a little scary. That really takes the art out of it all.
Yeah, I mean, some studios won't be able to not go without ads, you know?
Right.
So
yeah. And with the big guys doing it, Sony and Microsoft kind of looking into that is kind of interesting.
So for me, so now you brought up a great point with God of War. If there were ads in God of War, it would have to be so ingrained to the environment or with the theme, like you would easily like spot it. Versus, you know, like a sports game where it's like, okay, it makes sense that there's an ad there or something. So they have to be careful with how they like do these ads.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I just wanted to talk to you about that before we talked about Breath of the Wild because I felt like a little relevance before we go back to 2017.
Back to the past.
James, I'm going to take you back to a time.
5 years.
5 years.
When did it release? But like, what was it?
Launched,
fall?
so March. No, it was a March game. It was the launch game for the Switch.
5 years then.
Yeah. Yeah, 5 years. Over 5 years.
5 years. Over
5 years. And I think this is kind of relevant because Elden Ring is being constantly kind of compared to Breath of the Wild, I think, right now.
Elden Ring is the big thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's the big thing right now in the open worldness of Elden Ring. And I want to talk to you a little bit about their differences in open world. But 5 years. I played it at launch. Well, kind of. Took me like a month and a half to get a Switch. Bought it in a Walmart in Sacramento. Ran right over there, picked up a Switch, and then played Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And blew my socks off. Was able to take it to the bathroom when I needed to. And then, obviously now, 5 years later, you've played it. What did you think of Breath of the Wild? And did you beat it?
I did beat it, yeah. I fully beat it. Yeah, definitely beat it, yeah. Here's my initial thoughts. So, for a 5-year-old game on the Switch, it is by far the best Switch game out. Which is sad and also a testament to how good that game was developed. Yeah. Because it's not graphically amazing compared to other Switch games. I've definitely played a Switch game that looked better.
Yeah.
It is just structurally, scope wise, it nails everything on the head that this is what the Switch can do, and nothing has compared to it. It's almost like, so when I think about it, it's almost like Half-Life Alyx. Half-Life Alyx is is the best VR game out there, and nothing has touched it since it came out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But this is 5 years. 5 years. I will still advocate that it is the best Switch game.
I mean, that's I think what the interesting thing is. Like, I had a buddy that recently got a Switch, and he was like, "What games do I get?" And the only thing I said was like, "Zelda, like Breath of the Wild." Like, that's where you start.
You start Breath of the Wild. I picked up. I have Luigi's Mansion 3. Okay. I have Super Smash Bros.
Yep, of course.
And I can't remember the other third game, but I have other. I played Pokemon Arceus, but like Arceus.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Jesus Christ.
What a waste of money.
Yeah. It's like, you play all these games and nothing compares. I played the Mario Rabbids, but
yeah, you like that one.
I did like that, but it's not. We're not what we're talking about.
Yeah,
but these games, and I still haven't played Mario Odyssey, but I just don't see anything touching it until Breath of the Wild 2 comes out. So this game is going to come out 6 years later, right? So it's going to be 6 years. So it's coming out spring 2023. And it's going to be on the same system that's been out. Is it 6 years as well? Yeah.
Yeah, because it launched with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, launched on you.
Yeah. Because Breath of the Wild was also on the Wii U.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. And it played... That's another thing we got to bring up.
It played on the Wii U.
It being able to play on the Wii U and do... Like, that's...
that's how my buddy Parker played it, and it was like the same experience. He like had like this incredible experience. It wasn't like a graded down version on the Wii U.
Yeah,
which is crazy. Yeah,
that's incredible. That isn't like. How do you even get that? How do you even be able to like downscale that type of game into the Wii U?
Yeah, well, I think a testament to it as well is that Breath of the Wild is still the comparison when an open world game comes out.
Right.
I mean, like Elden Ring came out, and it's the biggest freaking game of the year by a mile, and it's still like, well, is this the new Breath of the Wild? Like,
yeah, and
that's always what it is.
Right away, with how Elden Ring starts, it made me think of Breath of the Wild right away. Because one thing that Breath of the Wild does, and Elden Ring, but Breath of the Wild did kind of first, is you choose your journey. You choose where to go. You like you told me, you can just go right ahead and fight Ganon. Like, I could just go, walk over, and beat the end game boss. But you won't because you can't because it's probably incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
So you go and explore, and I guarantee you and I didn't have the same start.
No, we actually didn't. I know this for a fact. And we'll get there. So we are going to spoil basically everything about Breath of the Wild. We're just going to be talking about it.
Yeah, it's been 5 years.
Yeah, it's been 5 years. Late. James and I really haven't taled about it, so that's what's exciting.
We talked about this cast, but we haven't talked about...
Yeah, we've talked about doing this. So for me, just really quick on Breath of the Wild is like one of my favorite games ever. I think it's like just hands down probably the best game ever made just for what it is, in my opinion.
No, I agree.
and I will talk all of these things. There's just so much layered into what this game is about going to the divine beasts, and then there's like almost like another game underneath it of like finding the shrines and the Korok seeds, and then there's like weird side quests that like you really have to look for. And Elden Ring obviously does that now.
Yeah, because it has the map underneath it.
Yeah, there's a whole other map. Yeah. But yeah, so we started so you start on the little Great Plateau, which is like the greatest tutorial ever.
Yes.
I mean, just how it rolls you into it. You get all your tools. What did you think of just like that area and then getting everything and learning kind of just the basics of the game?
I really liked the starting forest environment. Kind of similar to Elden Ring. Like I'm really gonna like compare. Yeah, so it's you start in this little forest and then you have you meet this old man. You have this guide.
Yeah.
And he's like kind of like telling you everything, like what's going on and where you need to go. And so so there's some little direction at the start, which of course
you have to have it. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, you have to have it. So, and from there you're basically you start in this forest and then you go out and then you see there's like a lot of mountains in the distance. You see a nice church. You basically the environment. Not too impressive, but then it gets impressive.
And you see like what it has to offer. And that's what I love about Breath of the Wild is and like other open world games have done this, but I look at like Horizon and certain games like that I've played in the last year. And it's like, I've always in Breath of the Wild there, you can at any point see a place that you want to go to. You can at any point see a shrine or a tower. And that's like developed on like they did that very knowingly. We're like,
and that's still only a Breath of the Wild thing.
Yeah.
No other game, when I think about you can do that. You can see exactly everything on the entire map where you need to go and what you need to do.
I've noticed because I've been looking while playing Elden Ring, kind of like how did they build their world, just thinking about that comment in Breath of the Wild. And at any point in Elden Ring, you can see a castle. Like basically you can see like a tower or a castle. Like,
or something else the tree is your plateau, basically. The tree is your Great Plateau. Because, when you go out beyond the Great Plateau, you can see the Great Plateau.
Well, and you can see Ganon's castle from like.
Sorry. So it's more like Ganon's castle. Yeah. It's not like the plateau.
You have to get there.
It's more like because it's like again the exact same thing.
So cool.
We're just basically like saying the Elden Ring is a copy of Breath of the Wild.
No, because here's why it's not. This is why I love, in my opinion, why I love Breath of the Wild more. We each had to in Elden Ring go along a path to get to the final boss.
Oh, right. Yeah.
At any point in Breath of the Wild, you can just be like, I got a divine beast. I got this cool sword. I'm going to fight Ganon. Like
that's it. So that's exactly something you can't do, right?
Yeah, like I thought about it with Elden Ring. Like you don't just get to the final boss at some point and be like, I'm gonna fight him, and like right away. It's like you really have to work to get to that final boss point.
That's to me is something that's a downfall of Elden Ring because the end game is very clear what you need to do and where you need to go. It's not like free as the early game where you can just go a totally opposite direction and fight a bunch of totally opposite things instead of going the route it wants you to go. But you're right. You can't just go out of your way totally to get to the end and fight it. You need to do certain steps. Versus this game, which is almost totally open and free.
So where did you start? What divine beast did you go after?
I went to the Rito boss, the wind one. The flying one.
The flying one, okay.
Yeah, so you see this flying divine beast in the sky, and I was like, what is that? And so I started like heading that direction. And also because at the start, you get your Sheikah Slate like very like early on, but you get memories.
Yeah.
And one of the memories was a picture of the flying divine beast. And so I was like, okay, let me just go in that direction. So that was like I went off of a memory. I didn't really like go off of a direction. So cool. Like I didn't really
It does kind of point you to Kokoriko Village. Like the game tells you you might want to go there. So as a player I was like, well shit, before, because like you didn't know what this game was. I love that you were able to just go, oh, there's this memory and I'm going to go that way. Like
and that has the starting tutorial. And most people find it like very, very late because they didn't,
That was my third. Funny, That was my third divine beast I did.
That was your third. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that was my first. What was your second then?
I went to the Mount Doom one.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You went to Goron.
The Goron.
Yeah. The rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my very last one.
That's so cool. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The Gerudo one was my last one. That's so funny.
That was my second to last, but damn, you went that way. Okay.
I love that we did in a complete opposite order. That's so.
And that's the beauty because the game lends itself to you being able to do that. Whereas Elden Ring, you can easily get in an area where you are under leveled beyond belief or over leveled, like the opposite.
Yeah. Well, there's no levels in Breath of the Wild. It's not, there are no stats that you pump in your character except you build your hearts.
Your health. Yeah, you can bump up your health
and stamina.
Yeah. Stamina and health, which you don't really need it. What you do need is weapons.
Yeah, and that's what your level, like your gear is basically your levels. Is like what you're picking up from enemies.
Which is something that exists in other games, like your weapons breaking or degrading and you needing like other weapons, but not that doesn't exist in Elden Ring. You just you have a weapon.
I always, so like when Breath of the Wild first came out, it showed like the weapon degradation and like that you were going to start breaking your weapons. I remember that was like a huge thing of like, oh my god.
People didn't like that. Yeah, people were like, that's awful.
What was it? Did a Fallout game do that, or there was some RPG I remember, maybe Oblivion or something, where like your weapons would break over time?
I mean, Witcher has that, but you just repair it.
You just repair it, right? Yeah. But I always hated that. I always hated in games that like when weapons.
Yeah, you have to repair. You have to have these repair kits. Yeah, I
feel like Breath of the Wild does it because weapons become so expendable. Like you're not like tied to something. You're just like, oh, I got a spear now.
I had like 5 of one of the best swords, and it's like okay.
It's great until you get the Master Sword, then you never stop.
Yeah, then you get the Master Sword, and you're like, okay, there, bye.
All right, cool. Yeah, I got this.
Yeah, but some of the weapons were really fun. Like you had like this big giant like wooden club, or different spears.
Yeah, or when you took down like the giant lion like bosses with the swords. You know what I'm talking about? And like you get their sword. I loved using that.
I love that sword.
Massive blade.
Yeah. Yes, the massive sword. Yeah.
Yeah. I always love that kind of stuff. And then you have the climbing ability in Breath of the Wild that really no one's really done since. Like you can just climb anything at all times.
The climbing ability with that, what uses your stamina. So like you can't just climb anything.
Eventually you run out, but you can try.
Yeah. And what also consists of stamina, which we didn't talk about, was flying.
Yes.
I think the flying. The parasail ability is absolutely mind-blowing because to like traverse this great map is really hard without using the parasail.
Yeah, I mean Horizon literally copied it for the new game. They just like have her have a parasail.
And it works so well. Yeah, and like a lot of these games are like, damn, that works really well. I think I've seen it in a couple others. But your goal is basically like you go to these towers, you activate the area so you can see the area, and then you just fly off the towering, and whatever you can see, which you're looking for shrines usually, whatever shrine you can see, you just go to it.
And then you ping it within, it shows the light on you.
The ping, the ping system is great. Yeah. It's basically so nice. Just like the Elden Ring ping system.
Yeah, they took a lot of that. Where you see the beam of light in the sky, it's like, that's Breath of the Wild.
So this game that we're talking about 5 years ago, like pioneered so many things that you've seen now, which, I guess we could talk about like Skyrim as well. Like Skyrim pioneered a lot of stuff for RPGs, and this is the Skyrim of open worlds.
And this, right, yeah, and this for what Zelda was, like Skyward Sword was the last like 3D Zelda game, and that is a very like pretty linear experience. There's a lot of like open world areas, but it's not an open world. It's like you go to these hub worlds almost kind of thing and do activities there and you see this like kind of turning of an open world, but they just be like Elden Ring. It's so many comparisons because they were very linear experiences that just said, okay, let's blow this open. Let's make this your adventure, not ours. And that became such a unique thing that I think so many games are trying to still replicate and figure it out. It's just so cool to see. I mean, I love that feeling. How much exploration did you do rather than just going straight to Divine Beasts? I'm kind of curious.
I tried to like touch everything on the map, like in terms of where to go. I may have not completed everything. I know I didn't complete all the shrines, but I definitely like got to areas where it was just way out of the way and nothing was nearby, but like just really cool to explore like different like jungle areas or like the big like mazes that were like in the middle of like the ocean or something, which were just
wild.
Like why? Like it's crazy how big.
Did you go down to like where there's like the rainforest, like the forest that's like always raining and like a storm blowing? Yes. Yep. So one of my favorite things in this game, James, is how like when you have metal and lightning attracts you?
Yep. Yeah.
There is a shrine where if you find a rock that is like kind of cracked, you go up there during a lightning storm with a metal sword, or you can drop the sword and the lightning hits the metal and blows up the rock, and there's a shrine there.
What the heck? Okay, I did not know that one.
Yeah, because like in this game, in what's Breath of the Wild has so many like physics-based kind of systems that you use. It's a lot of rolling things and using bombs to move things.
And to solve puzzles.
So there are like these electric puzzles that you'll get through in shrines, and people started to use like metal swords to make new paths to like figure stuff out.
Yeah, I knew about that, so I did use it for one of the shrines. I used metal swords to like cheese
Connect
it.
the lightning.
Which,
Yeah.
there was. I mean, when I played it 5 years later, like 4 years later, but I knew about things from watching like videos and stuff like stasis, the Sheikah Slate kind of abilities you get, and you can manipulate objects using like stasis so that they can go flying and you can like stand on top of them. So
yeah, so you did like tree surfing.
Yes, tree surfing or the boulder, like hitting the boulder like crazy, so you could jump over like a certain gate.
Yep.
Like really, really fun stuff
it's just wild
to solve these puzzles. Which that is to me, that's basically what I think of when I think of Zelda. I think of like a puzzle adventure, but the puzzles you're not restricted to like the norms.
Yeah,
that's what I feel.
Yeah, the puzzles you can solve how you would solve them.
Right.
Yeah, with the tools you're given. And I think like for me, I Breath of the Wild, like that great plateau where you get these tools, you get all of your tools right away. Where in a normal-ish Zelda game back in the day, you would go like and get your hook shot, get this, the lens of truth. Now you got it, you know. Where this is like, here's all your tools. Now go find your adventure, and you can do anything. We're not going to limit you. And that is like
here's the end game boss. Here's how you win. Yeah. Here's some other stuff you can do to help you win. And then it's like, okay, what do I do?
What do I do?
Like, where do I go? What's the order? You just go.
Yeah.
Get out there.
And so, okay, one of my other favorite things, James, in Breath of the Wild, there is a camera that you get on your Sheikah Slate.
Yes.
And you can scan things and take pictures of them. And it's like you can find a sword and take picture of like a knight's greatsword. And it gets put into like a catalog book.
Yes.
And you can catalog everything in the game. Every fish, every bad guy, every boss, every weapon. And I started to do that on one of my playthroughs. It's just like, I'll just go and catalog shit that I don't have when I go on a flight. And it's awesome. It's just built in the game and barely anybody does it, but you can catalog everything in Breath of the Wild if you want.
Yeah, I didn't do that totally, but I definitely was doing the memories.
Yeah. There's a whole story in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, exactly. There's like a backstory that is not even needed, but it's great to like experience because well, I guess we haven't really talked about like you're always Link, but you have amnesia basically, and you don't really.
You always do.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. So it's basically your traditional Link story, but I feel like it has. It's probably one of the best besides Ocarina of Time. Maybe.
Yeah, but this world is like probably the best Hyrule. You know, like it's the post-apocalyptic-ish Hyrule. I love that.
It's post-apocalyptic, and it's also like you're in it, and it's like, whoa, what is everything? What is this?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh shit, well, I guess stuff happened, and you're building like your memories, like what happened, and experiencing the future. Like you're from the past, but everyone like knows about you, and it's kind of cool. Like whoa, you're the great warrior.
You're kind of like Captain America, like frozen in time until like, you're needed again.
Until you're needed. Yep. You come back and
you come back. And they incorporated like because it's like post-apocalyptic-ish Hyrule, except for like Kakariko Village and the Gyarados and everything. But like they'll have like certain Zelda landmarks like built into like the map. Like you can find like Long Ranch, and that's like a place from Ocarina of Time, and like from other Zelda games where you get the horses. But it's just like ruins. Like it's just like been destroyed. It's like, oh, that's so cool. I love all that stuff. Do you have any like standout fights or something, or whatever you were saying? Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just gonna like say like now, what do you think they're gonna do for Breath of the Wild 2?
That's the big thing. I'm curious. Continue? Yeah, but like, is it just gonna be the same world, but now there's like sky bits? Because like that's what it kind of looks like. There's like stuff I think in the sky.
But what in the sky?
Right. Like I don't know.
Well, like what do you do from here? You have a really great map. But
like, are we just gonna play the same map again? Because I don't want to do that. Like, it's like one of the.
I don't want to do that either.
I love Breath of the Wild, but I don't want to like play a game on the same map, but it's different now. You know?
Do they ever? I mean, I'm not too big into Zelda, so like, do they ever like have different universes? Like, what was Skyward Sword about?
So Skyward Sword is basically the idea is that like Link is like reincarnated, like Link and Zelda are kind of like reincarnated throughout time, and like at different points in time, just saving Hyrule again and again. And Skyward Sword is at like the beginning, and it's like the origins of creating the Master Sword.
Okay, then, would you like? Now let me ask you: would you like a Breath of the Wild game where it was the past and not the future?
Yeah.
Okay, so
that would be cool.
That would be kind of good. Like I think if they did Breath of the Wild trilogy,
Okay.
Because they're calling this Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah.
I would go back to the past and then maybe something with the future. But like that's like your typical trilogy kind of thing.
Yeah. Do you think this game is gonna be called Breath of the Wild 2: something?
I hope not.
I hope not. I hope it's like Legend of Zelda Breath of something. I think it should be Breath of something.
Breath of something, yeah. Not Breath of the Wild, but yeah, whatever. Breath of fresh air.
I think it could be time, and then it was going back and forth.
Breath of time would be so yeah.
See,
so
that would be cool, James. You flip the time periods, and then you go past, and then you get to explore the world that you were in. But then the past is the new world.
A time element would make this game. Yep, that's exactly.
Nintendo, give us a call. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
We'll do it. We'll start right now.
That would be so cool if it's like two realms on top of each other.
A time, yeah, exactly. A time element. That's what I thought. Like Elden Ring was when you went to the underworld. I thought like it was like on top of each other, but I didn't realize it was something separate. I was like, whoa, is this like night version of? No,
yeah, like it's like the underground or whatever. From
I was like, my opposite.
It's Stranger Things, the Upside Down.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, what if
See, something like that. That was a big theory, is that was going to be like all caves, like a cave system. But I think that's going to be, that was like the first theory after the first trailer for Breath of the Wild 2.
I am definitely interested in what they're gonna do, because you have this game that is beloved by so many Zelda fans, and if you cannot screw this up, kind of thing. Like,
and it's got so many systems, and so like the cooking and like everything. Like that's what Breath of the Wild 2 is gonna take with it. Like I
love the cooking.
Yeah, I love the cooking too.
Cooking's great.
Yeah, I love all that music.
Yeah, it was like, oh yeah.
Did you ever get like any of the special horses in Breath of the Wild? I'm really turning this boat in a different direction.
I wasn't too into the horses. Like I just got my horse, and that was it. Like I wasn't like all about the horse. I was all about the cooking though. I was looking like all like the best like cooking.
Best recipes and power-ups and stuff.
Yep, best possible gold, like everything.
Because with the horses, I don't know if you've seen them, but you can get like a skeleton horse, and you can get like a giant, like a really big horse, and like just like weird shit in this game. It's so funny, like pure white horse, like a pure white horse, pure like black. It's really cool.
Damn.
Yeah, there's a whole other subsystem of hunting horses and getting them.
So I did like the horse riding system, and I love it way better than the Elden Ring system. Yeah. It actually works,
You know what I love about Breath of the Wild 2? Just because I've been playing a lot of Lego Star Wars recently, and it's like I love it compared to the grind of like a hardcore RPG. Where like it's super easy and it's like light. In Breath of the Wild, at any time, if you're like dying or getting shot by like something crazy, you can just warp out. You can teleport at any time just to get out of a place, and I love that. Like why can't
I definitely enjoyed that part. You brought up you're asking me about like my favorite boss.
Yeah.
I mean, when I think back on the boss fights, like I kind of like the interactions with the God, I can't remember what they are, but those little like dudes that would like pop out and like
they're like a something gang. I'll look it up. Yeah, I'll get the name. Yeah, I know
like the gang that like
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Sheik gang or
Sheikah gang or something. Yeah, it's like
Sheikah, something. Yeah. But those guys could be a nightmare for you if you were like not in the right area or like dealing with some stuff. I love fighting those.
The Yiga clan. Clan.
Yeah, the Yiga clan. You thought that one guy who was like helping because they had his son or something like that.
Did you do like that side quest where you go and like fight the leader of the Yiga clan?
Yep, yeah. I did that. Yeah, I went into the little like area that they had, and that was fun. Yeah, and fought the. Okay, that was a good fight. Yeah, where you fight him and he's like, it's like a really funny fight.
Yeah, he's like really not good at fighting.
Yeah, it's like here it comes, and it's like coming slowly. It's like, why is that going so slow? And you shoot it. It's like
He's like a horrible mouse battle. I love that part. Yeah, that was like the very stealthy area, which I kind of liked, where you had to like sneak around guards and stuff.
Yes, I did like that. Yeah, no, that was nothing. I love that stealth puzzle.
Yeah.
And, how you navigate that puzzle as well. It's like, okay, you can go this way, you can go this way.
You can go up, you can go sideways. Yeah, I love that.
That brought that awakened the Dishonored in me. I love the Dishonored type of like where you jump all over the place and they scout everything out. So that was
and I love the ascendancy of power with hiding from the sentries, like the Guardians. And like you'll just see the dot and you're like, oh fuck, I gotta run away, like I can't. And then eventually you get to a point where you're like, I can take these motherfuckers easy. Like you just like
you wait it out, you understand the time, and you
hit them in the eye, slice their legs off, like come on in. You're like, this is awesome. Like I love that feeling of like, I got this. Like, and what I love about Breath of the Wild compared to like an RPG or something is it's not because my stat points are higher. It's like because I got better gear. Obviously hearts, I guess, you are leveling up, but like it's really because I found this better gear and I now know how to beat this enemy. Like it's like they have like a weakness, and I think that's really cool. Yeah, the Guardians were always my favorite thing to go fight in Breath of the Wild. Like
yeah, I definitely love fighting the Guardians.
yeah, and then you get like the annoying flying ones and stuff. It's just like they're cool.
Oh yeah. What's your favorite area?
Oh
Like out of so they have there's
yeah,
the water forest kind of area. There's the sand.
the
There's
Gyarados
the
Valley.
rock. Yeah. And then there's snow, but there's no snow divine beast. So like
there's no snow in the Divine Beast. I like when you can do
there.
a lot up there. Yeah,
You did go there for the training to get to the flying beast. So I guess
you do go there, but there's a lot more in that area. You can snowboard up in that area. There's like a whole like snowboarding
I saw
area.
people would like ride your shield and snowboard with that.
Yeah, you shield surf. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, shield surfing. Cool. Yeah.
I really like a lot of the like kind of areas kind of in the middle of the Great Plateau, or like right after the Great Plateau, like on the way to Ganon. It's like Hyrule Field. I love a lot of like the ruins there. I think like they're very haunting, and that's like kind of in this game, which I really like. And then I love that rainforest area I was talking about earlier with the like constant lightning storms. Even though like rain sucks in Breath of the Wild because you can't climb up anything, but I think it's like such a cool area.
Everything's slippery. Yeah, oh my gosh, when you're like trying to like climb something and
and like one of the great dragons like is always there, and he's like always slurping like through the forest, like kind of like you can like see like you're on top of him basically, and like it's such a cool aesthetic looking area. What about you? What's like some standout places?
I think my favorite area is the forest where you go get your Master Sword.
The Lost Woods.
Because the Lost Woods, the journey to get there is quite like fun, and then when you get there and like learn, like you basically like learn everything when you get there, and it's pretty powerful. I'd say it's nice.
And that's where the Hetsu guy is, the guy that shakes his Macarenas.
You're looking for that guy. And it's like, hey, there he is.
There he is. This is where you upgrade your weapons and everything now. Yeah. You give him your Korok seeds.
That guy is great.
Did you find a lot of Korok seeds?
I found a decent amount, but I liked how you found Korok seeds. Like it's like with so this game's like you're always like looking at the environment, but then you also have to pay attention to what's out of place, or like if your OCD is like really, really like on.
Really going, really cranking. Oh, James, your mic cut out. Your mic just cut out. What James is going to talk about is how there are places where there are circles of rocks, but they'll be missing one.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep, you're back.
That's exactly. Yeah. Or like move this metal box over here, and then the guy pops out. You're like, oh, hey, you found me. It's like, hey, you found me.
You found me. You get a seed.
It's like, here you go. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. So then when you do that, you're like, okay, now I actually have to pay attention to what's going on with the environment.
And they become really relevant when you get to upgrade like your bow, how many bows you can carry, how many swords, how many shields. Like, I love that system as well. Is like, you really like it upgrades your inventory, and there's a reason to explore. Same with the shrines. I mean, getting just the pieces to go upgrade your health is, I mean, as dopey as it is, like I love that kind of feeling of like, okay, there's a reason to go do this. It's not just this like dumb side quest. Like it's always a purpose. I am like I love also like getting new armor and like coloring it up and stuff. Like there's like a fun little system to that. Did you like the Gyarados kind of storyline where you had to dress up in their outfits and like
that to me was great. Like like that whole thematic of to get around to get in, and then it's like. What happens is like you dress up and then you change, and then you come back and be like, oh wait, I forgot I had to like dress up, and they're like, hey, and they just keep throwing you out. Because it's like, oh, this clothes suck, so I want to put back my like amazing armor that I had, or
it's really not good armor at all. I love that.
When you try to get to the village, like you're like, how do I get in? And like, hey, someone else figured out again. This is what they did. They just dressed up. Like this is what you do.
There's like one like kind of pervy looking dude that's like always like trying to spy on them. You're like, this is kind of odd. I love that. And then I don't know if you have did you do any of like the side quests in Breath of the Wild?
I did some. Like I didn't do too many. Like I did a lot of the ones in the like starting village.
In Kokorika Village.
Kokorika Village,
Yeah. Do you know about the town building side quest?
Town building.
So there is a side quest where you can get a house in this game, like for yourself, and like build a house back up. And like you can start storing weapons and armor like in this house. Then there's another side quest once you build up this house where a guy's like, hey, I found this great plot of land to like build a town. Do you want to come and help me build a town? And you have to go find like 4 or 5 people, like recruit them to come build this town. There's like one from every area. And then you have to like start bringing them resources, and they build up this town, and there's like shops and there's like unique things that you can go buy at this town that you build up.
Yeah, I didn't. Where does that start? Because I did not do that.
It starts in like Kokorika Village. There's like a house that you can rent in that, and you start working with this like construction crew.
Jesus.
And then it goes like forever.
So
like,
yeah, it's just like a big long.
Yeah, it's like this big
line.
long side quest that they've hidden away in this game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought I did most of the ones at Kokoriko, but I guess I didn't do.
Yeah, it's that house one.
ones.
You have to like save up a ton of rupees and like really drop.
I definitely was going through a lot of my rupees.
Yeah, spend a lot of money.
Yeah, it's like I definitely wanted like the best arrows and all that. Like.
Yeah.
Because I thought the end game fight was gonna be a lot harder.
Yeah, the final boss is not anything to shake a stick at.
I mean, it's not hard if you do all the divine beasts and they're like slamming on his castle.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I got this. Yeah, I think the end of the game is the weakest part. I think like just whatever.
I wish there was more. That's when I beat it. I was like, wait, that's it. Yeah. Damn it! It's like I wish I didn't beat it because I was like I wanted to do more, and you can go back, but still, it's like that fight wasn't too much.
I imagine that Breath of the Wild 2 has a lot of like more detailed big dungeons. I think they're gonna add like dungeons into this game. Because I think it just kind of needs something a new twist, and people complain a lot about not having dungeons.
Here's a different twist, which I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Okay.
Elden Ring has co-op. Do you think Zelda would ever have co-op?
Where someone would play as Zelda?
Yeah.
Oh.
Could I don't think it would, teaming up?
Because Nintendo's online systems suck. And I don't think
that's the best part. Yeah. They could never do it because Nintendo's online system.
I don't think they'd risk putting online into Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 because it's like way too important for them.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's... Yeah.
They could do it like in Mario Odyssey, one person plays as the hat. Like the little kid.
That would ruin my Zelda experience.
What are some things that you want to see in Breath of the Wild 2?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I want to see more diversity in the weapons. Like I understand like it's just like sword, shield, spear, stuff like that, but I feel like there was a lot more futuristic stuff going on in Breath of the Wild, like lasers and stuff like that you couldn't really utilize at all.
That'd be kind of interesting actually.
Sword, shield, bow and arrow.
Yeah.
I feel like there was some untapped technology there that they could have used, especially with some smart scientists that they were using. They were like could live forever.
That's interesting, actually. I never thought about kind of having this some like more like not like guns, but like a laser.
Yeah, you're getting shot by lasers or like I mean, magic potentially as well because Zelda has abilities. So why not?
That would be cool. There's been some Zelda games where you have magic, like there'll be items where you can.
Yeah, it could be an item as well. So I'm definitely looking more towards that, like a little bit more.
I wonder for me, like what the power set. I feel like it's going to be a whole new power set.
Yes,
I think like they're gonna get.
You can't use the same thing. I'd say.
Yeah, like I imagine stasis and some stuff like that stays, but like I bet we don't have like the ice blocks and stuff, or like or there's just like 3 or 4 new powers that you can use.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of would be an interesting direction, because like I guess you kind of have to have like the bombs and stuff, but
right, you have to keep what's been in, and then you also have to like find a way to innovate, which to me like that is also a tall order, and to do that with also the environment and the music to accompany that, which the music's always incredible, and this was like by far one of the best. And the best thing about it is it just doesn't like Elden Ring like really comes out. It's like bah, 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 bah. This is like really subtle. It's like doo, 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 doo. Like just really
like haunting.
Subtle. Yeah, just subtle music that fits the environment, and then just little things that like add to the immersion, which we're talking about. Now, if there was an ad that shows up in Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, I will throw my Switch.
Like I don't know if you've played a lot of like older Zelda games. There's like a little postman that runs up to you sometimes in Zelda games. Are you familiar with him?
The little guy kind of thing?
Is there a postman? I don't think there's a postman in Breath of the Wild. Is there?
No.
Is there ever a guy that's like, hey?
There's like running. There's running.
Yeah. The postman are but you have to go find them. They don't come to you.
No,
in a lot of Zelda games, like in Wind Waker or Ocarina of Time or something, there's a postman that will like stop you on your journey and be like, hey, and like run up to you and then like give you a letter. Mm-hmm. How fucking hilarious it'd be if eventually Nintendo gets to the point where they add these ads and like you're running along in Breath of the Wild 4 or whatever and someone's like, hey, like stops up and it's like, hey, like, do you know about like StubHub? Get your latest like sports game tickets at StubHub.com, and then he like runs away.
I'd love that if you could like kill them and prevent them from like giving you the ad.
Yeah, you get like a DLC pass to kill him.
It's like, hey, it's like, no, I gotta tell you what.
It's just like you see him coming, just shoot an arrow at him.
Exactly.
Drop him.
No, not gonna have. Here's my ad blocker.
Here's my ad blocker. But hey, that could be the future, James. That could be your games. That's so funny.
No, I couldn't do it.
And I hope from Breath of the Wild 2 there is a little more variety in, like we talked about the map, but also just like boss fights and like how I hope they have more like new enemy varieties. I hope there's new enemy varieties, new like those like bigger enemies and like boss kind of fights.
Yeah, like a millennia.
Exactly. And no more of this like Red Moon Rising thing. Like I don't need that. You know?
Oh yes, the Red Moon.
It stops you all the freaking time. It's like that's how the game reloads.
Blink.
Yeah.
The moon.
Did you know that it's like built in to help the game reload?
I did not know that.
Because it's so big that like it has to have a point where the game just stops you and like reloads the world.
That's actually quite innovative.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
To do that. Yeah.
So there's like make it a cutscene.
I thought they would just do it every single time you teleport, but I guess if you don't teleport for a while,
yeah,
it has to do it.
They have to like reload the world because it'd be just like it'd slowly probably crash.
Oh yeah, it'd probably like memory like because constantly stuff going on. Which
I love watching like how games are actually like developed and like the cone that you actually like the players actually building the world like as they view it. There's a really cool video of Horizon I know we've seen that like shows that.
Yeah, exactly. You can't render everything. It has to be like what you're seeing.
Yeah, it's just so wild to think about like that's what's actually happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Video games are crazy, James.
Oh yeah, and I mean, we're talking about a 5-year-old or 6-year-old game now, and it's still like great. That's why I feel like we'll talk about Elden Ring like that too.
I think we will. I have a question. So is Breath of the Wild one of your favorite games at all, or like would it be up there on your like top 10, 20 list?
It's definitely in my top 10. I don't know if it's potentially my top 5. I feel like what happens is when new games come out, like stuff gets like bumped, so it's definitely top 10. Like I would definitely put it top, but I'm not too sure on top 5. I'd have to like really look at my list and figure things out.
Is Elden Ring up there?
Yeah, Elden Ring's top 5.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Elden Ring top 5 with a bullet.
Yeah, it's just the scope of Elden. Well, I mean, maybe it falls down eventually.
No,
and
but still,
Breath of the Wild remains like top, but things shift. And what sucks about Breath of the Wild is that if Breath of the Wild 2 is just as amazing, Breath of the Wild may like drop down. Mm-hmm. If Breath of the Wild 2 sucks, then Breath of the Wild kind of goes up because like it was that much better. So
it's lightning.
You have to balance that. And I think when we were talking about like Elden Ring, I don't think you do an Elden Ring 2. You just do something else. So Elden Ring can forever stay at like the top. And
I don't think From Software does another Souls game for like. I think they want to do something different.
I'd love if the Elden Ring was just like their
swan song.
Here's the sum of all of these Souls games.
Yeah.
Now I do something different.
That's what Ted called it. Remember, he called it like it's the magnum opus of like that company.
Like that's what I called the description. Was like that was like the magnum opus of that creator.
That guy,
that dude at GDC won Game of the Year or like won like the top game award.
Yeah, I saw Inscription was their Game of the Year.
So that to me is.
Yeah, game devs are like
game developers know. That means we know.
Yeah. So, it did really well at DICE too. I think. I don't think it won the top prize at DICE, but because that's all game developers, I think that vote on DICE too. Yeah, that's just wild. Yeah.
Yeah. Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. That's it. There it is. Any final thoughts, James?
Final thoughts are: this is the must-play game of the Switch. If you own a Switch and you've never played it, like I made my sister play it. I made like every single person like. I think Gunnar has been playing it so it transforms you. I feel like your experience, even if you don't like a Zelda game per se, because I was kind of that person. Like I was like, Zelda. Mm-hmm. I guess everyone likes it, but it's definitely above Mario for me. Yeah, like that type of franchise is big and kind of unsullied. I'd say it's very pure in what the characters do. There's not a lot of kid stuff. Like not like kids, but you know what I'm saying. It's more for.
It has a really good audience that I think it just plays to like constantly.
The audience it plays to is much more mature.
Yeah, I would agree.
Maybe
that's it's just I think we were right. Like you can just have anybody play this game. And they kind of get it, and it's just like wow, this is just it's simple enough to understand, but it's got so much potential, and I think that's so cool.
Definitely. Yeah. And I still see people like talk about it. So even though we're talking about 6 years from now, people are still like going back to this, referencing it, talking about it.
Yeah.
Especially now with Elden Ring, like Elden Ring kind of like brings up everything. It's like, well, what did this do?
Yeah. Anytime the next great game of all time comes out, it brings up kind of the past competitors.
Well, back in my day. Yeah.
Back in my day, Breath of the Wild was the best.
Cyberpunk. No.
I live in the realities where Cyberpunk was the best game. Are you gonna go back and play Cyberpunk? I know now we're just kind of shitting around.
I could like. I don't know if I could ever touch that game again.
I'm in the same boat. I'm kind of done with it.
I'm so ruined.
Yeah.
That to me to go back is not gonna be like I'm not gonna get anything out of it. Like it's like we talk about like things that take you out of the game. The game breaking bugs you experience in that takes you so far out of the immersion and like the story of the game. Like you can't get into it. Breath of the Wild, amazing game. I didn't experience a single issue. Not a single issue, which is incredible. Yeah. I cannot. Kind of same thing with Elden Ring. Like I can't really think of a bug there that I've experienced. So good there, but those types of games, like what? You cannot have bugs that take you out of like an open world version.
So this is what is so crazy. Like I feel like PlayStation has really like polished games. Like a lot of the stuff that comes out on PlayStation is like really polished, and I don't experience a lot of crashes because like my console can just run the games that the console is for. I know PC you can crash a lot more if your cards and stuff aren't.
Yeah.
You know, like, I know crashing's a little more common I think on PC from my understanding, but. I played Lego Star Wars the other day, and like I've been playing just like great polished games, and I crashed for the first time in Lego Star Wars, and I kind of sat there like, what the fuck just happened? Like,
that's a game that's made for like everything. That's
no, I know.
It's not
specifically optimized or like Elden Ring. It's like
the games that are made specific for one console, like that really helps the developers tune everything. Versus like when you mix them for PC, it's like okay, this person has this graphics card from this year, this person has this graphics card, this processor. Like there's too many things. That's why you can easily optimize for your console.
And Lego Star Wars like on the Switch and like other stuff, so like it's optimized everywhere.
That's a fun Switch game. I feel like.
Have you been playing more of it?
I've definitely held off on it a little bit because I've been trying to like dial in Elden Ring.
But that makes sense.
You brought it up. It's like I have to finish Elden Ring before I do anything else, so it's like I have to finish it.
I've been dicking around that. I've gone through the prequels and the sequel, or the prequels and like the OT. Of Star Wars. So each story is like an hour.
Oh, that's not bad at all. No.
I beat Revenge of the Sith while Maddie worked out for an hour the other day.
That's very reasonable. Yeah, kind of. I was really like, oh god, you're gonna like spend so many times doing all this stuff.
No, if you just like run through the stories, they're like an hour.
So the time spent is probably like collectibles and side
stuff.
Yeah,
it's because each planet you go to, James, has like a hub world.
Yeah,
and like they're massive. Like a lot of them. There are some small ones, but like they have like 30, 60 bricks that you got to go get. And there's like 20 planets. So like there's a lot to do in this game. And I think it's just like get through the stories, get all the people, and then like go dick around. I'm just going to roll around with Luke Skywalker and just like, some random, and Poe Dameron. We're just going to hang out.
Oh, damn.
Poe Dameron.
Oh, you talked about this, sorry, with the prequels, and you liked the voice actors.
Oh, they're the Clone Wars voice actors. That's why he's so good as Obi-Wan. He's the guy from the Clone Wars.
Really?
Yeah, and same with Anakin. Anakin is the Clone Wars actor.
Okay, so that's
why they're good.
Okay, I was like, what are they? Like, they're really dialing it in. And
because like the Qui-Gon voice actor is like particularly terrible.
Qui-Gon just doing whatever he wants to do.
Have you played all of the Phantom Menace story yet?
No. I've watched a little bit. Like, I mean, I've started a little bit, but I haven't.
There's one of the funniest jokes of a Star Wars thing I've seen in this game. There's a point where like in episode 1, there's like the Senate meeting. And like to revoke the Chancellor's powers, and it's like going to all the different Senate chairs and like kind of showing like cameos of aliens, and it pans to the Jawas, and Darth Maul has been following them the whole time, and Darth Maul is sitting there with the Jawas, and they're like the Jawas go Utidi, and then Darth Maul goes in his very like sinister voice goes Utidi. I was dying. I was like, this Lego games get me. It's so funny.
I'm really happy for their success though recently.
Me too. It's been selling very well.
That's very important, I feel, for the Lego franchise and just I mean, it's crazy to think that 2022 has a lot of hits with so many misses recently in recent years. This is one of the most stacked years.
But there's nothing for a long time now until like the end of the year.
Summer, I feel like there's stuff coming out, but
we just don't know about it.
I think we may get one of those like hidden gems.
I think Nintendo's got something coming.
This would be the best time. Nintendo, I mean, 2 years ago in March, they had Animal Crossing, but it's been. I mean, honestly, I feel like if you released your game during Elden Ring, which unfortunately some games did, you really got screwed because now like there's nothing and everyone's still playing Elden Ring and still like trying out some other games. But I feel like it's everyone's like kind of like finishing, and then now we're getting into what's out there. Maybe this Overwatch 2 beta is good. Maybe this I don't know, whatever else.
Maybe Battlefield's finally turning it around, James. You know, maybe it's time.
Maybe the other Battlefield's not the recent one.
I think it's time. Battlefield 2042, whatever it's called.
Call of Duty, come out with not this mode that you keep having.
Did you see Snoop Dogg is in Call of Duty, James?
Wow, I did not see that.
Snoop Dogg is in Call of Duty, and he has a sniper rifle called the Bong Ripper or something.
Nice.
And there's some other thing that was just like ridiculous. It's like some weed joke gun. Yeah, wild. Thank you so much for watching the 93rd episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast. My name is Jake. That's James, and we will see you next week.
Hopefully not with Ted.
I really freaking hope not.